Hello and welcome to Game Changer Live. We were created to inspire you with topics about coaching, overcoming perfection, mental hacks, positivity, and more. We endeavor to bring you the most unedited and authentic content that we can so that what you see, who you see right here, this is who you get to work with if you choose to work with us. We go live with our shows airing every Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. And we bring on occasional guests about twice a month. Our motto here is Together We Inspire, and I couldn't do this without you. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me. My name is Daniel Connor. I'm the host of Game Changer Live. I'm the owner of Connor's Coaching, the company that brings you this content, and I am a certified professional coach. I am an International Coaching Federation leader for my local chapter, and I'm an energy leadership master practitioner. And perfection sucks. That is why I'm doing this. That's why I'm a coach, because my clients get a chance to overcome perfection. They change from the inside out so that instead of holding themselves back from making decisions and moving forward on projects, they make progress and produce results rather than spending a lot of energy worrying about what other people think or changing themselves for people who don't even really matter. They get to define who is going to be the best version of themselves and wake up to be that person every day and see that person reflected in the mirror. The goal today, for this episode specifically, is to create consciousness around procrastination for perfectionists. Now, that may seem like an oxymoron. Perfectionism is all about looking really productive and being perfect and being seen as valid, or you get the picture, right? They're highly productive people. But procrastination is often viewed as a form of laziness or holding self back or avoidance behavior, right? Well, procrastinators and perfectionists have a lot in common. In fact, most perfectionists are actually procrastinators. We're going to create consciousness around that today because I believe, based on my experience, both as a professional coach helping people overcome perfectionism, but also as a recovering perfectionist myself and seeing myself do these kinds of behaviors as well, to create consciousness around it is a near universal cure for the type of procrastination that is brought on by perfectionism. So, laziness is just one way to procrastinate. And what that looks like is I have gosh, I just realized that my camera is a little too low, so I'm going to edit it just a little. See, live content. Um, and another way of avoiding perfectionism is to just accept flaws. um, but laziness is just one form of procrastination. Usually that looks like I have a term paper to write next week, and instead I'm going to spend time playing video games and doing other things. And I could argue that there's nothing wrong with that, to be honest. Sure, it's not a great way to get an A, but it is a great way to live your life in the present and in the now. And that is the whole point of living, the whole purpose of living. When we were put on this planet, we were not put on this planet just to get A's to impress other people. We were put on this planet to live our lives in the now. However, there is such a thing as too much of that kind of behavior. And if that is holding you back from being progressive, there are tons of coaches out there. I could even help you with that, but that isn't really the focus of my show today or of my practice. I really focus on the type of perfectionism or the type of procrastination brought on by perfectionism. And what that looks like is that we're so focused on getting it right, getting it perfect, that we miss the deadline, that we miss pushing the button, or that we spend way more energy on something than we needed to. So, perfectionists, let's say you have something to do. This is what perfectionist procrastination looks like on that high level. You have something to do, and getting it done, that's easy. I could get it done, but I want to get it done right. I am so concerned about all of the ways it could go wrong. I'm so concerned about how it could fail. I'm so concerned about what other people are going to think about me doing this, or what am I going to think about me doing this even, that I never actually do it. I'm spending all of this time, all of this energy, and all of this effort preventing myself from looking, from doing the thing that I need. Like if I was applying for a job and I wanted to create a resume, I'd spend all of my time trying to build a perfect resume. I might even build 3 or 4 different resumes that I never actually apply for the job. That that is perfectionist procrastination right there. Because I've put a lot of energy into it. It is not lazy, but it doesn't produce results. I'm too afraid to push the send button when I get the job that I'm looking for. What if it's not the right job? I'm not even going to apply for it if it doesn't sound like it's the right job. And that isn't a way to live. And that's not a way to be perfect. That's not a way to be productive. Why is it that we do this? Well, one of the issues is that it becomes a twisted net of issues that are in our brains, completely in our minds, completely fabricated. In my very second favorite, I say second favorite because I have another favorite TED Talk out there, but in my second favorite TED Talk, um, Carrie Thomas delivered it in TEDx Ashburn in 2017. It's called From Clutter to Clarity, and it's really easy to see, really easy to find. I'm gotta turn on what? Give me just a second. I'm having some technical issues here. My goodness. Um, Gosh, sorry about that. I needed to turn on my captioner, and there it is. Okay. And then I realized my sound was on. Okay. Again, live, authentic, unedited. Please forgive me for my imperfection, but we get it done. So where were we? We were talking about my second favorite TED Talk. So this is Carrie Thomas. It's from TEDx Ashburn in 2017. It's From Clutter to Clarity, and I believe she actually wrote a book about it. But basically, she defines clutter as postponed decision, and she describes this way that clutter drags us down, and that clutter isn't just pieces of paper on our desk. That clutter is also worries and fears and thoughts in our head. It's forgiveness that we need to give to other people in our hearts that's holding us down. And that it has this compounding effect that holds us back and holds us down. So when we're perfectionists and when we're looking at doing something and we're worried about getting it right, having it perfect, what other people are going to say, whether someone's going to criticize our grammar, whether or not um, I'm going to like it. I'm not even sure if I'm going to like it. All of those things, those are clutter, and they all wave together. They all knit together to create this heavy blanket that holds us down and that we can't even breathe under, that we're suffocating under. So, learning to make snap decisions, which is the scariest, easier said than done. It's the scariest thing for perfectionists. But learning to make snap decisions and being okay with the results of those decisions is the fundamental best way to get through this type of procrastination. So the reason that that's so difficult is that there's an underlying cause with perfectionism. That perfectionism is all about trying to prevent a negative outcome that's going to happen in the future, or that we fear will happen in the future. Usually because we've been scarred in our past. Usually because we made mistakes in our past and we don't want to do those again. That that's usually the source of this kind of issue. So really, I've kind of lost my train of thought here because again, this is unscripted, but perfectionists, again, are just trying to control that future outcome. We want to avoid the negative outcome, and that's usually because we've experienced scars in the past. So what does it look like? So Let's say you're in a dead end job and you want to apply for a new one. And you are going to go out and set out to find the perfect job. But rather than go out there and just get on Indeed or LinkedIn and look for a job posting, instead you decide that the way forward is going to be to really perfect your resume. To get a good resume, you haven't done one in a couple of years, you might as well start over again, right? Um, And the perfectionist is going to get there. They're going to start doing their resume and they're going to agonize over each and every single word. They're going to agonize over the layout. They're going to agonize over everything except actually sending off the resume. They're going to stay in that dead end job and they're going to keep working on that resume until they get it right because they've created a hurdle for themselves. Because unless they have this done, then they know that no one's going to take them seriously or they've fooled themselves. And that is a limiting belief that's created from perfectionism. So this is how this net starts to form. And then when they finally do get a resume, finally down the road, meanwhile, if this was a race, they haven't even started out the gate and everyone's already started. They're already halfway down the track. They already have their resume. It's good enough. They're out there doing interviews. They're going to get a job much faster than a perfectionist because they've actually done something productive. They've actually pushed the send button. All of that effort, all of that energy was completely wasted based entirely off of our consciousness, of our subconsciousness, and off of the way that we're judging ourselves using other people as an excuse. There are very real strategies that can help people overcome this type of procrastination due to perfectionism. The first is because because perfectionists specifically are always worried about the worst possible outcome. The the very easiest way to try and start creating a solution over this is just consciousness of it. Oh my gosh, I'm really catastrophizing launching my new web page, for example. I'm just going to do it. And I have to tell you, that's how my web page got launched. I thought all of these things about my web page, and it never would have been launched if I just hadn't said, you know what, enough is enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. If it exists, it's infinitely better than me continually working on it. Um, again, snap decisions. I call it a scarecrow process where you create something that's good enough and then you work on it in the future. You set a calendar date where you're going to spend X number of hours to fix that issue. The next one is to take best versus worst case scenario and to really do a likeliness or likelihood rating. So what that looks like is you're going to create a list of all the worst possible outcomes. That's easy for perfectionists. We're constantly worried about the worst possible outcomes. And then list out all the best possible outcomes. And then list out all the possible outcomes. Get maybe 9 or 10 out there. And then rate them from 1 to 10 on how likely they are going to happen, where 1 is very unlikely and 10 is extremely likely. So then you have your outcome lists. And oftentimes, and this, you really have to be objective with this kind of thinking. Think about it in terms of someone else doing this work, not how you specifically doing this work, because it's really easy to imagine the worst possible outcome for you. But think about if someone else was doing this kind of work. What's the actual worst possible outcome? If you're applying for a job and you send in a resume and they critique your grammar on that resume because you made one spelling mistake and that's going to prevent you from getting that job, how many more interviews could you have taken from that based on that versus the time it would take to spend correcting your resume so that it is absolutely perfect and flawless and beyond reprehension or beyond someone else's judgment. Apprehension, that's the word I was looking for. Anyway, the next one is to have an accountability partner. So this is another solution. And this is already built into coaching. So the third one is going to be coaching. Shock. I am here to talk about coaching and the way that coaching can benefit people. Um, but you don't have to hire a coach to have an accountability partner, but you do need to set that accountability partner and yourself up for success with a few boundaries around what accountability looks like. Your accountability partner needs to remember that they are there to hold you accountable to your goals for you, not their goals for you. This means that family members and spouses and partners and children and other people, best friends even, are not great accountability partners because they usually have an agenda. They want what's best for us, and it's really hard for them to hold back on their judgment. You're already full of judgment if you're a perfectionist and you need an accountability partner. So you need to set a boundary, that the role that the accountability partner there is not to judge your grammar, it's not to judge your actions or your choices, or to help catastrophize worst possible outcomes. They are instead there just to ask one question: did you do the thing you told me you wanted to do? That is it. The way that you hold your accountability is that you have to say yes or no. And having an accountability partner can really help procrastinators push through it. But it doesn't help with the underlying cause, the root issue. So if you're finding yourself constantly at war with yourself over perfectionist procrastination, you might need either therapy if it's based off some deep rooted trauma in your past. And there are types of perfectionists that are created based on deep rooted trauma, or a coach if it's just the normal type of procrastination that every single one of us has. And coaching is a great source because it is built in accountability. It is built in um, looking at yourself from a kind of third person perspective. It's an action cheerleader and accountability partner rolled into one. And when you hire a coach, you do not need to hire me. The one thing you need to do is to look for a coach you really resonate with. You resonate with them, not they resonate with you. They need to listen to you. They need to pay attention to you. They need to feel the ability to connect with you on almost an empathetic level. But it's really about you trusting them to hold you accountable for your own goals. Try interviewing 3 coaches if you're going to hire a coach, and check in on them based on their membership to a professional coaching organization, because membership in a professional coaching organization means that they are holding themselves to a set of ethics that is consistent with other coaches. I believe that International Coaching Federation has the gold standard for ethics. So I'm going to say, if you're going to hire a coach, make sure that they are a member of the ICF. They don't need to be accredited in the ICF. That is not essential. Anyone can say that they're a coach, and that's part of the problem. But a person who is a member of the ICF, like me, has taken a pledge to hold ourselves true to the ethics of coaching based on ICF. I should have put on Do Not Disturb on my phone. Lesson learned. And for example, that coaching is co-created, coaching is not consultation. There's no point at any point in your relationship with an ICF certified coach or an ICF accredited or an ICF member coach, there's no point in which they should be providing you with advice on how to live your life. That is against the code of ethics for ICF Global. And if you are really struggling with coaching, whether coaching is right for you or not, most coaches offer a free consultation. It doesn't cost anything. I do this where you go on, you book an hour, 30 minutes with a coach. And usually it's an hour. A lot of coaches it's just 30 minutes. But we talk about what coaching looks like. We make sure that you understand what we do, what our style is, what we focus on. And we find out from you what's worked in the past and what doesn't working right now so that we can address whether or not it's going to be a good fit. And if the coach that you're looking at doesn't do that, then that's another red flag. You might want to do that to not hire them. If you're a coach out there and you don't believe in getting certified and you feel insulted by the words that I've said today, I'm sorry. But our business is full of snake oil salesmen, people who promise cures for things that they have no ability to actually cure, who promise solutions and promise advice, and that is not what coaching is. We don't have standards in our industry. We don't have board licenses in our industry. And so these organizations, these professional coaching organizations like the International Coaching Federation, they protect our industry. They protect our clients and they protect us, and they're extremely important. So if you're insulted by that, that's the reason that I said it. And you can talk to me about it. I invite you to talk to me about it. But otherwise, I said it. Now, keep tuned to this channel. We're going to be talking a lot about perfectionism and also have guests on. And I am so thankful to have you here today. Thank you so much for taking time to watch the show. If you have a moment and you want to give back to the community, take a moment to make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Press the thumbs up button to give this video a like and let Google know that this is great material for other people to see. And leave a comment in the comment section to tell us what inspired you the most. We were built to inspire, and we can't do that alone. So thank you so much. I'll see you next week. We have a guest that's returning to us, and I will see you then. Bye.